Good morning. Back to the grind. That's right. Chef. Giants, man. They look bad. Looked like the old Giants. Morning. How's everyone doing? Welcome back. Make sure everything looks all right over here. How about them Cowboys? Yeah, Cowboys won. I didn't get to watch the game much, but I was watching Red Zone. But saw that was a high-scoring game. All right. All right, let's start. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Welcome back. New week. Happy Halloween, I guess. Yeah, Halloween. Happy Halloween. Halloween's not my favorite holiday. What about you guys? I don't really like Halloween. I don't know. I don't like dressing up as in costume. Maybe I should. I don't know. So today's Monday. Obviously, we got a big week of economic news. That's going to be probably the major thing on watch. We have FOMC and Jerome Powell speaking this week, right? So that is on Wednesday. I'll pull that up in a second, but that's going to be the main event. The main event this week is going to be on Wednesday. FOMC, Jerome Powell speaking. And we have seen what happens before, a Wednesday like that. We've seen really slow markets, very choppy, pretty sideways action on Monday, Tuesday before that event. And that is something that I am definitely being cautious of as we approach this week, because I don't really care to trade on Monday and Tuesday if it's going to be extremely choppy, right? If I could just wake up Wednesday and trade a little bit more volatility on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then I'll be more than happy with that. So going to have to be a little bit cautious, right? We've seen this plenty of times. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So we have seen Monday and Tuesday be not the best days to trade before an FOMC event. So if we see that again, if we start to feel that same type of price action, let's not be insane. Let's leave it alone and trade a better day. But we'll see, right? That's just what I'm expecting now. But we could maybe see something that's out of the ordinary. So we'll see what levels to watch today on the pre-market stream. We'll get an idea of what levels to watch. And look at some individual stock moves that we saw last week, get an idea of what we got last week, and just sort of prepare on this Monday the best we can. Again, it's Monday. It's the first day of the week. You don't need to go out, swinging for home runs today. Get a feel for the market, understand what we're looking at, get a feel for the price action, start to, get ready for the remainder of the week. So let's go ahead and do that. So today, 31st October, Halloween, happy Halloween. Again, futures, economic earnings calendar. Let's go ahead and pull up that economic calendar, guys. That's going to be probably the most important this week is the economic calendar. Last week it was earnings. This week, economic calendar. So we go up. Today we got Chicago PMI at 9:45. Besides that, we have nothing here in the pre-market. So let's just keep an eye at 9:45. That's 15 minutes after open to see what the Chicago PMI shows. See if there's any movement off that. Tomorrow, Tuesday, November 1st, first day of the month, U.S. manufacturing PMI, manufacturing index, job openings, job quits, construction spending, motor vehicle sales. Let's just keep it. That's all intraday. So 9:45 again, 10 a.m. Wednesday, ADP employment. That's definitely important. So we want to be watching that. And then 2 p.m., FOMC announcement. Fed Chair Jerome Powell, right? Right here, guys. This is the big one. FOMC announcement, Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Very big right there. That's 2 o'clock on Wednesday. Thursday, we got jobless claims. We got U.S. services PMI, some more job data. And then Friday, non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate, average hourly earnings, labor force participation. So a lot of job data this week, right, which is definitely something that the Federal Reserve is keeping on watch to make their decisions. So we have to make sure we're aware of that. And then 2 o'clock, we'll hear from, or 2:30, we'll hear from Jerome Powell himself. This is your big move that we've seen in the past. This was the move back in September, I believe. Was it September? I'll go ahead and pull up. I think it was the 21st. That was FOMC. I'll go ahead and pull up that move today. I'll show you what happened on the last FOMC. So definitely watching this. Big economic news, guys. Monday, Tuesday, be careful before this event on Wednesday, right? All right. So let's go ahead and pull up the earnings calendar. earnings calendar. Here it is. All right. All right, so still some decent size earnings this week on the earnings calendar as well to be aware of course. And we can go ahead and sort of jot through some of those. Today, nothing major. Avis Budget Group, that's car. That's a rental car. If you guys have any interest in that. Tomorrow pre-market, SoFi, Uber, Pfizer, some more oil names, BP, Marathon. AMD, that's a pretty important one, right? That'll definitely influence NVIDIA. Tuesday after close, Airbnb as well. Another pretty decent sized one there. CVS, Generac, Synovus, not sure what that is. Paramount, and then Roku, which Roku, man, Roku's so funny. What a crap stock, but it's just I don't know. For some reason, I always watch Roku. I don't know why. Qualcomm, Marathon Oil, Robinhood, Etsy, Royal Caribbean, PayPal, Coinbase, Square or Block, Twilio, Carvana, Starbucks, Fubo, DraftKings. So some big ones, right? Some big ones on here as well, but not the size of last week, right? Last week was the big time tech, big size, major large caps. These are sort of, a little bit smaller, a little bit less important, but definitely still definitely the market will still be watching these. All right, so big week. Earnings, economic is big as well, so definitely going to be a pretty loaded week. So definitely be on your A game and make sure you prepare for this week the best you can. All right, so that's that. Apple, big move on Apple on Friday. Very big move. Totally outperforming the rest of the market. This was for me it was nice because I have a lot of Apple shares. I'm a big believer in Apple long term, so it was definitely nice to see this on Apple. It was a great day for the long term finally. So that was nice on Apple. We'll go ahead and review that. Tesla still stuck in the channel. Tesla sort of underperformed on Friday. If you guys were watching it, didn't move as much as maybe some other names. It is still stuck in this channel. I would still be watching this channel. Google, it held that weekly chart level that we talked about. If you remember, we were on the weekly chart and we were looking at that. I think it was like 9150. It was a major weekly chart level and it held it very nicely. So we'll review that. Amazon back over 100 after a pretty ugly earnings last week. The energy sector is still hot. XLE, XOM, CVX, still very strong on the energy side. We'll go ahead and look at some of those names. And then we'll look at the semiconductors. AMD and NVIDIA. AMD is still stuck at a $63 channel high, and NVIDIA went ahead and broke out of a very important 134 level. So some interesting moves on Friday, right? And we'll go ahead and review a few other names. Microsoft, we did Google. Microsoft, what am I missing there on the big tech? Microsoft we'll definitely look at and find some other big tech names that are moving. And then we'll go ahead and do your tickers that you guys want to look at the end of the stream. All right. I also want to make sure you guys know that the giveaway has closed. There is a little over 600 participants, which is, hey, it doesn't matter to me. Some people just don't want free things, I guess. The giveaway closed. There's about 700 people that joined it. I'm going to go ahead and go through all that today, announce it today. Not going to be on the stream. I just woke up like an hour ago, so I don't have enough time to go ahead and do that here in the pre-market. But I will go through that today. Pick a winner. I'll go ahead and do it live. Make sure it's all recorded. You guys know the drill, and make sure that we pick someone. Hey, less people that join, the better for you guys that did. Right? Doesn't matter to me. I would have, of course, liked to see more people join, more opportunity. But hey, I can't. It is what it is. All right. I don't want free things. All right, let's continue. Let's start. Let's do this. Yeah, LMT has been a big mover. Quentin, good call there. Maybe we'll look at that. Try to remind me. All right. So let's start with the NASDAQ here, right? Let's just zoom out real quick and get a good idea, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the 100, the 200, and the 20 for the NASDAQ because they're not really important. I think the most important one here is the 50. But if we zoom out here, right, you're starting to feel, I'm sure maybe people are starting to feel sort of bullish. They like the hold that they're seeing, but we need to understand, we need to remind ourselves sometimes on a Monday morning and zoom out, right? Because we really haven't moved anywhere on the NASDAQ, right? We're still in this same area. We're still in this exact same channel that we've been in since the beginning of October. We've had some pretty big moves, right? We've had big moves to the upside, big moves to the downside, big moves to the upside, right? It's been very volatile in this. This is about an 800 point range, right? Very volatile move, up and down within this little zone here. But when we zoom out and we look at what's gone on, right? It has not been that big of a move. We zoom out, we go to the 4 hour, we can see it's really not much down here, right? It's very small in compared to what we've seen for the rest of the last 6-7 months. So that's the first thing I want to remind everyone as we come into today. Now we can look at today on the 4 hour, and what we can notice is that channel on the NASDAQ is still very alive, right? We have that major rejection point above around 11.7, rejection here early October, rejection here about a week and a half ago. We tried to come up into it on Friday. We didn't quite get there, right? We rejected again. We pushed up on Friday, got stuck up here once again around 11.7, and you can see we're not quite getting the momentum here in the pre-market. But, right, we have to just watch that today. So, for me, all right, if I see the NASDAQ continue to trade in this channel, I'm going to be a little bit cautious. I will look for, of course, the channel high rejections and the channel low supports because that's what it's been doing. So I'll continue to look for that. But, I'm not fond of this, where the NASDAQ is, right? It's not really breaking out of anything, right? It's not showing any retests. It's not breaking down any major supports to potentially play downside. You're sort of just sitting in this channel, I would say between around 11,000 and 11,700. It's about a 700-point range that we are continuing to trade in. So, to me, my thought process here this morning and until Wednesday is that we will get some volatility within this channel before Wednesday FOMC, right? Maybe we get some volatility here before Wednesday FOMC. And then Wednesday, I would assume, right, you get either this move or you get this move, right? That's what I'm expecting on Wednesday. I think Wednesday we will get the channel break of this on the NASDAQ, right? I think that is the catalyst that we are waiting for to break this channel on the NASDAQ. So do I want to wait until Wednesday for the channel break to either side and then play that continuation? That's probably the better idea, right? That'll be the juicier trade will be the breakdown of the channel low or the breakout of the channel high off of FOMC, and we'll get some continuation, hopefully, outside of this channel. Above, you have 11.7, which is also the 50 SMA on the daily chart, so watch out for this supply up here, right? If you're trading up here, guys, today, let's say you get a push out of the open, please do not get suckered into buying calls at this supply. Every single time, anyone that's bought calls at this supply over the last month has lost money, right? You buy calls here, you lose. You buy calls here, you lose. So if you just look back on the 4-hour chart, don't do the same thing. If you're up here, don't buy calls at supply. Maybe there's a breakout, but you do not need to catch the breakout. Let it break out, right? Just let it break out. Don't be part of it. If it breaks out and it starts to hold, then you can get interested, right? But you don't need to catch the breakout. So if you let it break out, you won't. If you let this break out, there is 100% chance that you won't get stuck in a rejection. So watch this supply, right? If it starts to reject, maybe there's a channel high downside play. That could be something to watch at this 11.7. Or if we get downside today, right, we could probably trade back into that 11,000, back at that channel low support. So the NASDAQ is a little bit funky to me today. I'm not loving it, to be quite honest. I don't love this channel we're trading in. So just watch that today, guys. That's a big channel to watch. ES is a little bit more clear to me. The ES is, making a little bit more sense here. ES has been in this nice uptrending channel, right? And the ES has also been making stair-stepping formations, which I like. So if I go to the hourly chart, here's the ES over the last what is that, 2 weeks. So you can see the ES has held this uptrending channel, right? You can see the bottom side of the channel, one time here, another time here, another time here. So a very nice channel trade here to the upside on the ES. Now, the thing I like about this channel more than anything is the stair-stepping patterns. So you can see here's your first stair step, right? You have this high that turned into a low and turned into a low. That's a good stair-stepping pattern. Now, the next one that we're looking at today, right, is the previous high. And what do you want to see here on the ES? I would like to see it pull back to this 3870 level and see if it holds, because that would be the same formation as this, right? If you could replicate this, I would like that. So if I could see another move down to 3870, if I could see another hold here, and then maybe another push, I would look to trade that, right? There could be a move off that 3870. If you break this 3870, right, and you start to reject this, you start to turn it into a rejection, then maybe there's a trade back to the channel low, right? And then you try to bounce off that channel low again. So I like the ES a little bit more today. I think it's a little bit more, you know, the price action and the technicals make a little bit more sense. You're not stuck in a channel. You're in an uptrend, so you can start to watch some of these pullback levels. You can look to see if the pullback levels hold or if they reject, right? So the first one I'm watching today is 3870. If I go down to the 15-minute chart, 3870 is right here. It's the previous Tuesday highs, Wednesday highs, Thursday highs. So we broke a 3-day high, right? We broke Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday's highs on Friday. We got through it, right? So what do you guys know me? What am I looking for? I'm looking for the pullback. Pullback into that level. Do we turn that previous high into a demand? That is something that I'll be watching today on the ES. See, this makes a little bit more sense to me than the NASDAQ, right? You can see we're breaking that high. Can we turn it into support? So the best trade, in my opinion, today would be to wait until this pullback and then either look for that long entry, or if this pullback does not hold, then look for that short entry, right? Back down towards that channel low. So I think the best place to be looking for trades, or the place where there will be most interest for trades, is back here at 3870. And then we need to watch which way does it want to hold or does it want to fail under that level. So that's pretty much my main watch today, is the ES back to 3870. That is something I like more than the NASDAQ. All right, here's the Dow, and you can see the Dow is setting up something very similar. So here's the Dow. We talked about the Dow we talked about the Dow performance, which is pretty intense, right? Very intense Dow performance. Friday was another monster day for the Dow, and the Dow broke this previous high. So we had this previous high in the Dow around, let's just call it, I want to get the exact, probably the more exact level here. Let me go ahead and get some time. So this was actually, so funny enough, I think this was, oh no, that's here. Okay, so this was a big, I forgot what this was. No, September 13th, guys. Who's got a good memory on these things? September, is that CPI? I think that was. Let me check. Let me check real quick. What was September 13th? Yes, it was CPI. Okay. So here's the CPI reports, right? So CPI September 13th, right? It came in at 8.3. The forecast was 8.1, right? So that was CPI that came in a little bit hotter. And then you saw this big move on the Dow. Look at that. That's a huge downside move right on September 13th, right when CPI came out. This is your FOMC move right here, September 21st, right here. So CPI, right? And so that CPI level, that high before the CPI was, let's just call it, let's call it 32,700, so 32,750, right in this general area. 32,750 was the high. And if we zoom over here, we can see that we're sort of sitting right above it, right? And so that's going to be a very important level to watch here today. We're sitting right at that that CPI high. Let me go ahead and get a little bit more time here. So we're sitting right at that CPI high back from September 13th on the Dow. Now I want to just go ahead and draw a little zone there so that I'm watching this level around 32,750. See what happens at that today. But you can see a very overextended move on the Dow on Friday. I think if we do not hold this, right, this previous high, we could definitely be in for some pullback here. So I'm going to go down to the 15. You guys can see if we do not hold this little CPI level, this 32,700 area, I'm going to call it anywhere between 750 and 700. If we do not hold this area here, that pre-CPI high, then there's probably some room to the downside here. The next previous high was down here at 32,400, right? So really aggressive move here on Friday on the Dow. Be careful if we give up this previous high here, which you can see we're starting to try to hold here. If we give this up, then watch for this pretty low volume push on the Dow. You can see just pretty much a vertical move on Friday. So just be careful of that on the Dow. But still very strong outperformance on the Dow. You can still see that divergence on the market, so be aware of that. Russell, pretty sideways on the last few days. What I would watch here is basically the same thing. Previous highs, 1840. You can see a little retest that's forming here. I would watch that 1840 level on the Russell. You can see it's trying to form this retest. If we do not hold this retest, then I would look for the downside under this 1840. If we hold this retest, right, and we start to hold that previous high, then maybe there's another upside push. So I would watch 1840 on the Russell today. This previous high here, I would look to see, does it hold it here? If you do not hold this 1840 on the Russell, I would expect some slippage under that level. All right, so let's look at the NASDAQ one more time. Let's just get a review of this one more time. You can see, guys, NASDAQ channel. Really, really strong channel. Watch that supply above. Do not get caught chasing calls in the channel high. That is definitely a rejection point that you do not want to be a part of. Very strong move on Friday. Could warrant us to give back some of that move. Right? It could definitely warrant a move to the downside, giving back some of that upside from Friday. I am sort of interested in this previous high. I'll go ahead and just sort of put that out there, guys. This is definitely a level I'm watching. So I'll put that out there around 11,380, 11,4. This is the previous low here. The previous highs here. Some consolidation right there. So I'm going to see, does the NASDAQ come back into this level potentially today? Back into the middle of that channel. That's something I'm definitely watching. And then on the ES, one more time, I'm looking for a pullback to 3870. 3870, retest the previous highs from last week. Do we turn those previous highs into support at 3870? All right, so that's the futures. That's what I'm watching. Hopefully that helps, guys. Let's go ahead and continue. Apple. So, monster move on Apple. I did not believe it, honestly. And I actually caught I missed a really nice trade on Apple, which sort of sucks. I was long on this potential bull flag breakout, and I sort of just I broke even, and I didn't like it because the NASDAQ at the time was a little questionable. I was long around here looking for that bull flag breakout. If you guys are in the Discord chat, I'm sure you remember this, and it was sort of painful, to be honest. I really do wish I stayed in it, but I'll always be honest with you guys. I just sort of bitched out of it, to be quite honest, and I'm not afraid to say that, right? I was really cautious on Friday. It was 0 DTE, right? I don't like to hold contracts for too long. I like to take profits when I get them, and this Apple move was just a little bit too slow for me. So I got in a little bit early, which I like to get in early because it gives me good risk to reward. But maybe the downside of getting in early is you got to be really patient and wait for that move to set up. So I was in a great point. I mean, I was in literally at the bottom of these candles here. In at a great point, just sort of bitched out as this thing started to just sort of go sideways. Didn't want to hold on to a 0 DTE contract. NASDAQ was starting to reject as well. So I was, sort of being proactive by cutting my break-even trade on this little flag, and then boom. Look at when I zoom out. Look at that. So I tell the group, right? A lot of people asked me on Friday, how do you deal with that? Something like that. And it's just, you just have to deal with it. That will never go away, right? Missing a trade like this will never go away. No matter how good of a trader you are, no matter how long you've been trading, it will never go away, right? Ever. You will never always get every trade perfect. So it's just something that, something that is part of trading. That's what you sign up for. When you get on this chart and you get, you open up a brokerage account and you start to trade, that is what you sign up for. You sign up for the emotions, the highs, the lows, and that was definitely a little bit of emotional on Friday, right? So, anyways, just sort of breaking down that Friday, but I had a great day regardless. That would have been a fantastic one, but either way, good day. So Apple big push over 150. That was a very important level on Apple. This 150 low. I'm going to go ahead and pop on the 100 SMA here because that is sort of where we're sitting at, I believe. Let me go ahead and pop that on. Oh, no, it's 200 SMA. That's right. So I'm going to delete these. Just put the 200 on. So right there, guys, you can see the 200 SMA. You guys can see that sort of rejection that came in on Friday. Very strong rejection, right? You can see that 200 SMA on the daily chart rejected right off of it. So that's definitely a level to watch today. All right, so you can see the 200 SMA. You also have these previous highs around 158. So you can see, look at what we did on the 4-hour chart back here, guys. You can see the rejection candles, right? Notice these wicks. That's important, right? This is a 4-hour chart, 4-hour candles. So notice these wicks right here. See that rejection? See that rejection? That rejection? That rejection? See all those upside wicks? That shows rejections, right? And if we go over, look at where Apple is, right? It's rejecting again. Same exact level. 200 SMA as well. So this is going to be heavy, right? This is not going to be, a walk in the park to get through this level. So be careful. I would not be, coming in today. Apple had a huge day. I'm buying calls Monday morning. Apple's going to continue. I don't care. I'm loading calls the second week jump in. No, all right? You have to understand where you're sitting at. Big supply level, big rejection level in the past. Maybe it breaks out, but you do not want to be the person that gets stuck in that fake out. So watch out for that 157, 158. I would personally look for a pullback to last week's highs. The previous last week's highs right here, guys. I would look for a pullback right in this general area. 152, let's call it 152. It could be 152.50. It could be 153. It could be 152.80, right? It's this general area here. I would be watching a pullback to these previous highs, right? If you look, rejection, 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 rejection. If you get a pullback to these previous highs, I would look for a hold here. That would be a risk reward I'd be willing to look for. All right, so watching Apple pulling back to 152 area today. Big move on Friday, right into the 200 SMA. Remember that. That's a 200 SMA. That's a big level. 200 SMA, supply at 158. I would look for a pullback to 152 today. Tesla. So Tesla still very much stuck. As good as Tesla's sort of been holding, which I'm happy about. I'm happy to see Tesla holding up. That demand down below is definitely solid. You can see, look at all these bottom side wicks. Look at all the times that Tesla comes back down and sort of gets bid back up. You can see strong buys, strong buys, strong buys again. Those bottom side wicks are definitely pushing up off that 218. So we can definitely look at 218 as a demand. But this upside rejection point just looks really tough, guys. 230, right? Look at the rejection here. Look at the rejection here. Rejection here. Rejections all right here as well. So 230 is not going to be easy. You can clearly see the rejections that are stepping in. So what is Tesla doing? It's in the good old channel, right? Tesla's in a good old channel once again. So rejections, 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 demand, 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 right? So, if the market's weak today, Tesla could be a great candidate for a downside play, right? Why do I say that? Because if the market is weak today, if we see the NASDAQ drop today, then look at where Tesla's sitting, right? Tesla's sitting right at a channel high. So could you play Tesla, to the downside, knowing that it is sitting at supply? Absolutely, right? Absolutely. If the NASDAQ is weak today and you see that downside come in, Look at where Tesla's sitting, right? It's setting up a nice downside play at the channel high. So I would watch the market first of all. But if we see some type of movement to the downside, look for that Tesla trade back to maybe the channel low of 218. If you see a strong move on Tesla today, just look for that 230. Watch out for that 230 rejection point, guys. Please do not get stuck chasing calls into 230. Google. So Google held a very important level. And Google is on my short list of potentially a large share purchase for my SEP IRA before the year end, because I have to make another investment in my SEP IRA. Google's definitely one I'm interested in. So you guys can see here, this is the weekly chart, and this was our previous major level on the weekly chart. So I'm going to go ahead and scale this up just to make this a little bit more clear. You guys can see here, look at all these rejections here at 91.50, 92, right? Rejections, rejections, rejections. You can see that previous shelf that Google built here. This is back in November 2020. This is December 2020. And this breakout was the first month of 2021, right? Breakout here, January 2021. So big move there, right? Now, if we move over, this is where we came back to on Friday, right? We came back to this on earnings and held it on Friday. So that green zone, if I go to the 5-minute chart, is right here. Right? Here's the 5-minute chart. You can see we came back down into that zone on Friday or on Thursday on earnings. Friday, we bounced off of it. So this is a major level to watch on Google. I mean, this is definitely like make or break it on Google. We break this, if market continues lower, that's definitely going to be very weak for Google under this level. If the market can maintain itself, if this demand holds up, then this could be a nice little area to look for upside on Google. So just watch this, guys. This is a major level on Google, 91.50. We could start to see a channel form here, right? We could start to see that channel form here. That's very possible, right? We could be stuck in another channel on Google for an extended period. So if we start to build a channel here, I would say maybe for now, right, that channel could change. But for now, I would say 97 to 91.50. Let's see if a channel starts to build here. But first of all, 91.50, that's the most important. You guys can see in the weekly chart, major level here. Previous rejections, big time support came in at 91.50. Watch that. All right. Amazon. So Amazon is back over this low. And this is something that I was watching on Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and let me just go ahead and draw that out real quick. The lows were right here around this 101.50. You guys can see back in May and June, we had these lows around 101.50. We had this demand get built around this level. You guys can see right in this general area, support, support. All this support came in, all this support came in, and we moved off of it. So previously, we had some pretty strong buying coming in at 101.50. Now, on earnings, we got a break of that previous zone, right? We got a break of that demand on earnings on Amazon. So you can see temporarily we rejected it. You can see we came up into it on Friday. We rejected it temporarily, but it looks like we're starting to move back above it. So this is interesting on Amazon, right? We're back above that previous demand. That's this level right here, this green box that you see. That's that previous major demand from back in May, June. So you can see we're back above it. So if Amazon builds off this 101.50, right, then we'll maybe look to see if there's an upside play to maybe try to fill the earnings gap. That's possible, something to watch for, right? Or if we get weak again, if Google falls back under that level, starts to turn it into a rejection again, then there might be another downside play, right? So either way, whatever way it goes, either way, you have to watch this 101.50 level, right? This is a level of major importance because this was a previous May and June low right here, and you are messing with it again. So you have to watch that 101.50, get an idea of how it trades off of it. That's something that I would be monitoring today on your charts. Again, guys, I want to reiterate to you guys that are maybe new to the stream. I'm sure if you've been here, you know the deal. I point out levels of importance, right? levels that the market will react off of. They are unbiased levels. Remember this. That is a very important level on Amazon, and the reason I bring it up is because I want you to watch it, and I want you to see if there's a trade off of it. I'm not telling you that there's either there's only a bullish trade or only a bearish trade off of it. There could be both sides. But the reason I bring it up is because it's an important level. It's a level there there's going to be a lot of orders, there's going to be a lot of interest, and it's a level that there's going to be a potential trade off of. So if we come back down to that 101.50 and we hold, maybe there's a long entry. If we come down to that 101.50 and we flush it again, then there's probably a short entry. So the reason I bring up these levels is not because they are biased to a single direction, but because they are an important level to watch. All right. That's Amazon. Let's go ahead and go to XLE. So XLE, it's an interesting move on the XLE. I mean, energy is just a hot sector this year, and I don't think it's going to stop. At least it hasn't stopped for the rest of the year, or since the beginning of the year. Let me go ahead and delete some of this noise that we've been sort of using in the past. Let's go to the 4-hour. See if we can get a little bit of a better idea here. Yeah, so the XLE is starting to reject this 90. So that's the level I would watch out on the XLE, guys. On the energy sector, 90 right here. This 90 level, this previous rejection here, you guys can see again, starting to show a little bit of a double top rejection there as well at 90. So watch out for 90 today on the XLE if you're trading energy. And then look to see, I would want to see a pullback to this 85. Get a little retest going, and then see if there's another long entry off that 85. So just watch out for 90 on XLE. That's definitely a level I would watch. XOM has broken through that previous high and has really outperformed here. Let me go ahead and go out to the weekly and get more time. Where are we at in compared to the all-time highs? I'm going to ignore that because I think that's a glitch candle. It looks like this 105 was the previous high here. So big breakout here on the weekly chart. Major breakout here on XOM. Very strong move since the beginning of this year. What a crazy year for the energy sector. So, hey, it hasn't stopped yet. I wouldn't expect it to stop. If you guys remember my streams from earlier this year, I just said whenever you're looking for XLE, just look for the pullbacks. Do not chase the upside moves. Right? Looking at this chart, you can see every peak had a pullback. So always look for the pullbacks on XLE and then look to see if you can go long off that. But, right, for example, this week is not the week to go long XLE. Right? This is the week where it's already pushing out. So now you want to wait for that week where you get that pullback. If something is in a strong trend, like the XLE, if something is is strong on the market, like the XLE, like the energy sector, you want those pullbacks, right? And you should trust the pullbacks. You trust them until they don't work for you. But when something is weak, like technology or the entire NASDAQ market, the pullbacks you don't trust because they can continue lower, right? It's a little bit harder to trust buying long in a downtrending market. But when you have a sector that's outperforming, right, like the XLE, like the energy sector, it looks like every pullback was bought in, right? Every pullback was picked up, right? So whenever we pulled back aggressively on the XLE, you can see we got bought up relatively quickly. So that's sort of the mindset I would approach with the XLE. I would personally want to pull back to the previous highs. That's where I would look for, right? That would be my pullback level. Pullback level I would look for on the energy sector is back to 105. 105 would be my pullback level right here. So that would be what I'm watching. Look for that pullback to 105. Excuse me. That would definitely, I think you'll definitely get it if you're just patient, right? I would look for a pullback to the previous all-time highs right here. Look to see if you can get that 105 pullback on XOM, all right? All right, that's that. CVX. Big move on CVX as well. You guys can see CVX is sitting at this high around 182. This should be very easy for everyone, right? This should be, the mindset should be the same for everyone here. You do not chase CVX at all-time high rejection points, all right? That's very clear. That's very easy, right? The smart traders, think about it logically. The smart traders are selling here. The people that were accumulating down here, the people that were maybe trading, a little bit of this momentum, they are going to start selling here, right? This is the exit. This is the exit area. Don't be the exit liquidity, right? They need people to buy here because they need to exit their positions. Are you going to be the person that buys at all-time highs? I would hope you're not. Even if it does continue higher, doesn't mean that you missed out. You actually did the right thing, right? You do not buy at all-time highs. Even if it breaks out and it continues, you could say, oh man, I missed it. Or you could say, hey, it just wasn't right to buy there. So if it continues, it continues. So look for a pullback, right? I'm sure there will be. I would even look for a pullback to 164. Get yourself a nice retest for another long entry, right? Give yourself some risk to reward. So just watch out for CVX at all-time highs. Energy is still hot, but it could warrant a pullback, right, for an actual entry point. All right, AMD. 30-minute chart. Let's go hour. Let's go 4 hour, actually. So 4 hour chart, you guys can see right here, 63. You had a previous rejection. Right there, support. Right there, support. And look at the rejections that come in at 63. So very nice 63 level on AMD. Watch out for that rejection point. You can see previous support, and then the rejection at 63. So let's keep an eye on that on AMD. This could be another supply rejection, right? This could be another potential downside play on AMD right here at 63. Very clean previous rejections. Another rejection coming in. You guys know we've been riding this channel for a long time on the live stream. I know a lot of you guys in the chat have been as well trading this. Channel low buys, channel high plays to the downside, right? It is very simple here on AMD. I would say it does it until probably earnings, which comes out tomorrow. So I would say if you want to do a channel trade, this would probably be the last day to look for maybe that rejection, but then you have earnings to watch out for. All right, next, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA had a very nice push through 134. You guys can see right here. Very nice 134 push on NVIDIA. I'm happy about that for my shares. If you guys remember, I bought 100 shares of NVIDIA at 140. So I'm back to break even on them. That was sort of my big SEP IRA purchase for my long term, for my IRA portfolio. I went ahead and bought 100 shares at 140 for NVIDIA. And I'm happy to, be sort of near break even. And I'm sort of liking my entry point here. Obviously, if it goes down lower, it's going to hurt. But that's it is what it is. So support here, rejection here, and you can see we sort of got through it. So what is the key now for NVIDIA? The key for NVIDIA now is to hold the previous rejection point as support. You had support come in at 134. You turned it into a rejection. You need that to flip, right? You need it to flip again. You need to get 134 to flip into support again. So that is what I'll be watching today on NVIDIA very simply, right? Very simple. Just watch 134. I'm sure you'll get a pullback to it and just see what happens at 134. If it does not turn into support, then we're going to move lower. All right, let's go Microsoft real quick, and then we'll go over your tickers and we'll get out of here. So Microsoft, another big cap tech that got back above its support at 232. So Microsoft had some pretty extreme lows here under this channel, but the channel really is between 232 and 250. So I would watch this 232 level on Microsoft here. This channel low, 232. All right, let's go over the tickers that you guys want to look at. Let's go ahead and pull that up. See what we got in there today. CoinCat, Lowe's, JPM. All right, I like those. Thank you guys for getting some good ones in there. CoinCat, Low. Is that Lowe's? What is Lowe's? Is that Lowe's? JPM, PBR. Was that the beer, PBR? We're looking at cheap beer. I don't know what PBR is, but we'll look at it. Coin. So Coin's just a shit show, to be quite honest with you. I don't know why you would trade this, but it's channeling very intensely. Maybe there's something off of Bitcoin, but guys, I already know like why someone would be watching coin here, right? I'm not. I get it. I totally get it, right? You're waiting for a Bitcoin push. You're waiting to try to catch momentum on Bitcoin. You're waiting for that big Bitcoin night where it's like up 4% and you're in coin calls and you wake up, you're up 1,000%, and you just caught it and you're all happy because you guessed on when Coinbase was going to break out because of Bitcoin and whatever. It's not trading, guys. It's not. It's not trading. Right? That's gambling. So if you're really looking to trade, right, and trade something consistently, a consistent strategy, right, something that is repeatable every day where you come into the market and you can look for it every single day, you can have a strategy that is consistent, that you can make money. That is not this, right? This is I'm looking at Coinbase because crypto is hot the last week and Coinbase could pop again, and I'm going to try to catch it and make 1,000%. So I'm sure there's someone out there that is thinking this, and I'm not offending you. I understand it. The only reason I understand it is because I've been there, right? Why would I understand that if I haven't been there? So I've thought this way too. So if anything, I'm offending my past self. So just, I get it. But this just not trading. So please. All right. Caterpillar. Big push because of the Dow strength. I love that. Really strong Dow move. What would I be looking for? This. Look for this. Look for that 200 entry. All right. That's a very nice retest. It needs the retest. So big extension on the upside. I would not chase it. It's a very big move for Cat. Right. Caterpillar does not usually move 20%. Right, so look for that pullback to 200, to the 200 SMA. That's where I would look to go long. Lows, chop fest, really, really bad chop fest. Like one of the worst I've seen. All right, really bad. Wouldn't touch it. 206 highs, 170 lows. Wouldn't touch it. Big time chop fest. JPM, nice little breakout on the financials here on JPM. Here's what I'd look for if you're looking to go long. Look to see if it holds 123, 124. Look for this retest. If it can retest this previous breakout point and turn it into support, I would like that. Keep an eye on that. PBR, petroleum, okay, Brazil petroleum. I have no idea, guys. Literally no idea. I do not know anything about the Brazilian petroleum business, so I cannot help you on this one. I'm sorry. LMT. Yeah, let's go LMT. Yeah, huge breakout on LMT. And just look at the retest. I mean, that was the best part. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, wow. That's a sexy chart, isn't it? Beautiful, beautiful demand that stepped in here at 380, right? Previous demand, previous demand, previous demand. Built this flag pattern on the daily chart. Sexy breakout. Yeah, that's just awesome. That's an awesome chart. I love this is one of the best chart setups you could find. A daily chart bull flag like this, for a breakout, sick chart. I mean, what do you do now, Quentin? Right? It's over. Right? You got to accept it's over. You can't. You gotta accept that you missed it unless you caught it. But how do you do? What do you do now? Right? You just saw this thing go from 380. It went up $100 a share in like a week. 26%. If you didn't catch it, you just got to look for something on a pullback at this point. So I would look for maybe a pullback to like 475, right? Maybe a little pullback to the previous high. That's what I'd look for. Right here, 475. Look for a pullback to that previous high. See if it holds it as support. But very nice move. All right. The last one I got is Intel. 1 hour chart on Intel. What do we got? Intel reported earnings. I don't know, guys. If you're Intel, you have to just be a share buyer at this point if you believe in the company, right? That's what I'd look for. Either that, or if you're looking to trade, watch this 29.50 rejection right here. Watch that 29.50 rejection. But Intel, the best bet, guys, if you're watching Intel, if you believe in the company for upside, your best bet, just buy shares and forget about it. All right. That would be my best bet. That's if you believe in Intel. I'm not saying whether you should or not. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys could press the like button, that would be much appreciated. Make sure to be on the lookout. I will. Let me think about how I'll do this. I haven't really thought through it much, but I will probably. I'll make sure to follow my Instagram. Make sure to follow my Twitter. They're down on the bottom left of the screen. If you guys entered into the giveaway, make sure to be in the Discord chat, in the chart Discord chat, where I'll announce the giveaway winner. Make sure to follow me here on YouTube. We'll probably talk about the giveaway winner tomorrow in the live stream. So just stay in tune with my socials today. If you did join that giveaway, I'll work on getting that all finished up today. And good luck to everyone that entered. Thank you guys again. Hope you have a fantastic day. Be smart out there. Wait for some movement on the market. Wait for a clear entry point. Wait for something that's clean. Remember, major economic data this week, FOMC. We could see very choppy markets before that, right? You guys probably know Umar, right? Very good trader. Everyone knows him. Awesome guy. He never trades Monday and Tuesday before FOMC. So that's something that I understand why he does that, and I try not to do that as well. So just remember that, right? Remember that. Very difficult markets before FOMC typically. So just watch out. All right, guys. Have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.